Itaewon Semi here. Sunday night, Itaewon Street Festival wrapping up. So today's vlog, gonna take a walk, talk a little bit. So I've been talking about a lot of things that I like here, living life in Korea, where to go, what to do, you know, things like that. So I'm gonna talk today about maybe 10 things that you might not like about Korea as the next time, as a traveler. So again, this is just my thoughts on the matter. Sorry, give me 1 second. So these are just my thoughts after living here for 10 years and meeting people and hearing from them. I love Korea. I have nothing but good things to say about it. But there are things that sometimes might rub people the wrong way. You know, number one, if you really want to have a good time, you might not want to be here. If you want to party all night long, with no cutoff on the liquor, bars and clubs open all night, 24 hours a day, open liquor available on the streets at the convenience store, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You might not like that. Second thing, if there we go. We'll say hello to my brother here.
Hello, brother.
How are you doing?
Yeah, nice.
You having a good time?
Yeah,
in Itaewon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite club guy?
Everything B1.
Yeah, there we go. Right there. You can't walk down the street without saying that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, number two, you know, food. If you really like good, healthy food, you know, you might not like it here. If you're only into like processed food like hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, subs, stuff like that, you won't like it here. Koreans don't really, I mean, there are restaurants like that in Itaewon, but if you live outside of Itaewon and you go anywhere in Seoul, you're gonna only find, you know, fresh chicken, fresh fish, pork, a lot of pork, and fresh vegetables, and the food is just so healthy. When I first came here, I was like 95 kilos. A lot of that was stress, but I lost weight just by eating the food, or by, you know, not having any more stress in my life. That could have been a factor as well. But the food, if you don't like a major metropolis, I mean, the city of Seoul is the same size as the city of Toronto, about 700 square kilometers. And that's the main city. Toronto is about 1 million people. Seoul is just over 10 million. And the greater Seoul area, you're looking at about 35 million people. So it's really crowded. But because the city's brand new, and when I mean brand new, it's been rebuilt within the last 40 to 50 years. Because you remember, there was a war here 60 years ago, and this city was destroyed. So not many of the buildings are older than 40 years. So the streets have been planned really wide. As I think you've seen in some of my other videos, Gangnam-daero, the Gangnam Street, has 8 lanes in either direction. The sidewalks are over 5 meters wide, 10 in some areas. So, you know, that's the second thing. You know, all right, so this is just a personal opinion, but the women, you really can't dress nicely, can't take care of yourself, you know, look sharp. If you're, you know, a backpacker, you won't like it here. You gotta dress, you gotta be, you know, you gotta be upscale, is what I found. You know, there are some people who like the you know, the hip-hop style or what have you, but predominantly Korean guys, you see them on a Sunday, they're in a suit or dress clothes. Okay, this is just my opinion, all right? You go to Hongdae and everybody's in hip-hop clothes, Supreme and all those other things. You know, that's not me really, but you go to Gangnam or Itaewon, everyone's dressed up. And the women here are just, they take very good care of themselves. I'm very impressed. What else? I mean, one negative, you know, because it's such a crowded city and the culture, you know, getting bumped into. Personal space. There is no personal space in Korea because it's so crowded. On the subways, on the bus, in the shopping malls, on the streets, you'll get bumped into. And people will not apologize because it's a cultural thing. They don't want to, you know, because of the way the culture is, you can't really say, how are you doing? I'm good. You're good? Yeah? Good. Say hi. You're back? You're going to come to P1, hang out with me sometime? I will. All right, brother. You see that? Everybody's out and about. So, yeah, you're going to get bumped into, you're going to get pushed, and nobody's going to apologize because it's just not in the culture. It's not that they're being rude. It's just that, say if I were to bump into you, and you're younger than me, and I address you I don't know how to address you because I don't know you. So do I address you as a junior or a senior? Because there's three forms of formal speech. Three forms of speech in Korea. Formal, casual, and equal. So if I'm older than you, I will speak to you in a casual or informal way. If you are older than me, I will speak to you in a formal way. It's just a respect thing. So without knowing who you are, I can't talk to you. In which form do I speak to you in? So people just don't do it. And also older people that's just the way they are. They push and they not feel a sense of entitlement. It's just naturally the people here respect their elders, so they give way. If you want to live in a country that is totally safe and risk-free, without threat of violence, and yeah, don't come here. Because even though there are a lot of murders here, it's a different kind of thing. It's not random. Like say in Toronto, there's shootings and robberies and things like that. Here, it's more domestic. You know, neighbors, lovers, family members, things like that. Or, I mean, we do have the criminals, the sexual criminals and things like that. But it's rare. Theft is rare. It is here, but I can leave my wallet, my phone on a table and walk away at a donut shop or something, and nobody's gonna touch it. It'll sit there. I've left my wallet in a restaurant and come back 20 minutes later, it's still there. I left my umbrella at a Starbucks. I came back 75 minutes later and it's still in the same spot. Nobody touched it. Not even the employees, because they know you're gonna come back for it. Now, at the end of the day, if you don't come back for it, they'll put it away. But it was there, in the exact spot that I had left it. They actually have a law here that you must, if you find money on the ground, you have to make an attempt to find the owner. And there's cameras everywhere. I mean, there's CCTV cameras everywhere. The police don't chase you here. They just follow you on camera until you get to your house or they see your license plate or something like that. So it's really, really safe. Like I've never had a problem. Like I work in a club. And if there's an issue, like we had an issue last night, there was a situation, and there was a little bit of a fracas, to use the word. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving and little situation that happened with someone outside. And in Canada, I would have been fearful that they would have come back with a gun. I would have definitely not stayed at the front door. I would have left the club probably because I would have been afraid that they would have come back with a gun or that they'll come back today and cause some shit. But here, it doesn't happen. There is no self-defense law here. So if you get into a fight and you hurt somebody more than they hurt you, you will go to jail. So for example, there was this guy and his house was broken into. The guy was on the second floor and he had a pole or something, the criminal. The homeowner took the pole from the guy and beat the criminal. The criminal fell, broke some body parts or whatever, broke a leg or an arm or whatever, and the homeowner got arrested and had to pay money to the criminal because the judge said once he took the pole away from him, that should have been the end of it. So there's no stand your ground or anything. You have to run away. If you're assaulted, you have to run away and find the police, which is really stupid in my opinion, but that's this country. That's why there's not a lot of violence here, because you could defend yourself and end up in jail. The other thing is that there are no guns. Absolutely no guns. Any gun owner has to lock their gun at the police station. And when you buy bullets, you have to return the spent and you shoot them. So let's say you buy 20 bullets and you go to the shooting range and you shoot. You shoot 10 bullets. You have to bring the shell casings back and give them to the police with the 10 bullets left over. So you always have to have a record of the bullets and the gun. They have to be at the police station. You can't keep them in your house. So gun crime is non-existent. And I think I've said this before, the police don't carry guns. Only the senior officers carry guns. And those guys, their guns are chained to them. I've seen it, it's got a chain on it. And the first 3 bullets are blank. Or they have pellet guns, like gas guns. I'm not really sure. I haven't really explored it. But guns are just, it just does not exist. And after the war, everyone had guns. Like, they were just everywhere. All the people had guns, rifles. And it took 20 years, and gun crime was huge in Korea in the 50s and 60s after the war. And it took them 20 years to get rid of all the guns, but they got rid of them all, eventually. I mean, guns get old and they break. So, I mean, they just got rid of them all. So that was a good thing. So, what else? I mean, it wasn't 10 things. I think it was 4 or 5. If you don't like a transportation system that is probably one of the best in the world, you know, that's in English, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean, that is a card system that you know, allows you to go from one end of the peninsula to the other end. We're talking like hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, and just insane amount of subway stations, bus stops, and all interconnected via an app. So you can figure out how to go from point A to point B, plug it into the app, and it tells you which bus stop, which station, etc. And cost Canadian $1.20. That's it. And they don't charge you by time, they charge you by distance. So if you go over 100 kilometers, it's an extra 10 cents or something like that. And there's my brother Tanner. Everybody, there's Tanner. Everybody wave at Tanner. Yeah, he's having a good time. Best kebab in Itaewon, right there. Best kebab in Itaewon with my brother Tanner. So, Itaewon Street Festival's all finished up for another year. You can see them wrapping up the main stage over there, and streets are all getting cleaned up here. Very successful Itaewon Street Festival this year. Yeah, and yeah, there's another point. If you want to come to a place that's got like the best festivals, beer festivals, food festivals, culture festivals, every festival under the sun, waterfall festival, kimchi festival, you know, I get invitations all the time. And truly global metropolitan city. Then you might not like it here. So, those are my points. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm gonna get back to work. at B1 Lounge Club tonight. Sunday sessions, we're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna chill out and party with you. Itaewon Savvy, out!